So what a lovely day to be spending an hour with our amazing Judy Abbott. I've been quite excited about this. You know, Judy may seem like a quiet and unassuming woman, but she's definitely a powerhouse, and she's been a big influence in our community for, you'll see I was working fast this week. There's a couple typos and mistakes in the information I sent out. So she has been here since January 2000, not 2020, which I'm sure most of you would have had a little giggle at me. So I know I'm glancing at the people that are on our live webinar right now, and I can see some of you may not have had the opportunity to hear from Judy. So this is why we have this available to us every week, along with my co-host Anna Hunter and Gary Knapp. Now, Judy Abbott's Manatech story began in January 2000 when she started taking the products for her own health challenge. She had searched for a natural product for many years and soon realized she'd found the answer. She passed the message on to all who'd listen, watched them get the results they were looking for, and soon a small team and income had developed. Her first trip to Manifest in 2002 saw Judy being touched and inspired by Manatech's philosophies, its culture and vision of hope and health for the world. This caused her to be even more determined to so-called share the gift, as we call it, with everyone she met. As their team grew, Judy and her husband Trevor realized that by sharing this amazing gift and helping others find their answers, we could also have a business that had the opportunity of financial freedom. By the end of June 2004, she'd handed in her resignation from the job she'd had for 23 years. Her part-time Manatech business had become her full-time mission. Manatech had become her life, and it remained so. Judy offers thanks to the amazing Mike Forrest, who always said never give up, as one of the foundations for her success. Now bronze presidential, Judy advises others to learn, believe, dream, and envision their businesses. Judy knows that you can achieve your dreams and goals with Manatech, and all of us, herself included, we just keep going towards those goals. So Judy, thank you so much for always saying yes. I'm very appreciative.
Thank you, Sharon, and thank you for that great introduction. It is a journey, and I worked in aged care for 23 years, as Sharon has said, and I had health challenges and always looking for answers to support me with my health, because the medical profession couldn't help me in any way except just put me on morphine. So always out there investigating, and Manatech came into my life. I was very skeptical to start off with, but because of the science backing, and it was Professor John Axford, I had access to where I worked. All his journals would come through onto my desk, and this man is amazing. One day I'll find something that's going to support me with my challenge, but never found it. Manatech came into my life, and in that happening, there was a flyer in the information that was handed to me. It was handed to me by one of my staff members who saw me grappling and getting out of the car every morning, and I had an ergonomic chair made for myself, and so she knew that I had a challenge, and she had started the products and had amazing benefit with her son. She handed me the information, and I took it home and took it to work and home for 3 weeks in my bag. Finally, I just said to Trevor one night, can we please have a look at this? And I'll just say to Helen, thank you very much for thinking of me, but no thank you, because I have tried so much, wasted thousands of dollars over the years. One of the first things I pulled out was a flyer with Professor John Axford being on the board of Manatech. And I thought, my goodness me, he's not going to jeopardise his credibility. So then that opened my mind. And here I am today. So after 23 years of putting these products in my mouth, it has just absolutely changed my life. But the thing that took me to the next level was realising where I was working, I was putting in 10 hours every day. And I did that pretty well for 23 years. And the opportunity that Manatech presents. So with that, I started to just share the information, and people were saying, you're walking better, you're looking better, and just kept on sharing it, whether I was in a lift or wherever I may have been. and didn't know a lot about the products. It was just my passion and the belief that I had in the company and the products, with the science backing of it. So I really started to become serious with this and sharing the information, realising that I can have a better quality of life, not only with taking the products, because without saying, I've got amazing benefit, but to have the freedom of not having to go to work every day. I had grandchildren, I was missing out on time with them as well. Thought, this is looking quite exciting. So we just kept pursuing, sharing the gift. And in sharing the gift, it is so important to share the opportunity of the health and financial side of it. Just share the whole gift, because you can just change somebody's life to do that. As time was going on, I realised that I needed to do some work on myself, and I became involved with some training, and we're just talking about Sona with what Diane was sharing with you, and that was an amazing organisation called Clemmer. And so I started working on myself and soon came to realise, to me, the most important thing for me was to find my why. So I've just tried to simplify a training that I do with our team and new people into 10 minutes or so, Sarah. So if I go ahead and you can interrupt and ask questions if you like, but it is so important. And I'm going to read some of this, otherwise I'll be here for an hour doing a training. So I've just pulled some points out. It is important to have an understanding of what you want from Manatech and your experience that you want from Manatech. We can call this our why. Whether it is reaching a particular income level, to pay off your debts, to give to charity, achieving optimal health for yourself, your family, or someone you know. And then I had to ask myself, why am I doing this? What is my purpose? What do I hope to achieve? I had to have clarity on these things. Purpose is the why. Purpose is where you want to go. And I saw Manatech is the vehicle to achieve that. Purpose, your why, and your vision. What is purpose? And the definition in the dictionary is the reason you exist. It's pretty important to have your purpose. Your purpose is not something that you create. It is something that you discover. That is so important. Why is finding your why, your purpose, important? It gives us hope. It provides a standard to guide our daily activities. It provides peace of mind. It provides focus. It fuels our passion. It gives us the opportunity to create a lasting legacy. Expand your belief in what is possible so you can empower not only yourself, but others to achieve their dreams and goals. We are in an industry that provides every individual an above average opportunity. Your success is not determined by what you have been, what you have done, your age, your race, education, or background. So my biggest mistake in my early days, I was inclined to be judgmental. So never be judgmental. So I just hope that that is helpful to you in realising the importance of your purpose. And for me and for my team, we do our dream boards. Now, I dismissed that when I first started with Manatech. I didn't need that. But it is important, and now I realise as my dream board has grown and those visions, those goals that I put on that dream board, I have been able to tick so many of them off. It has allowed me to achieve my dreams and my goals. So to do that, we need to talk to people. And so many times that can become quite a blockage to be able to talk to people. So with our team, and I did this a couple of weeks ago, many of you may have heard of form, the principles of form. And so you put your F and your O and your R and your M down the side of the page. And F is for family. If we don't talk to people, we don't have a business. So this would just give new people, and still myself, I still use it today if you're in the supermarket, out walking the dog, wherever. You can always start up a conversation around family. You know, do they have a family? To open the question can lead into so many other, so much more information about that person. So it's just opening up conversation and you taking everything on board and what they're sharing with you. Little Millie has not been well, she's always sick and all that sort of thing. So you just let them tell the story. And, you know, occupation, do you work? And just about, you know, do they like working? What do they get out of work? Do they enjoy it? And it's quite often, no, they don't. If they could stay at home, that would be good. How often do you go away on holidays? Look, it's lovely. We're into holidays. Are you going away? No, quite often they can't afford to go away. They're home doing duties and catching up on everything. So just take all of this on board. Just open up conversation. And then the message is the summary of what they have shared with you. And you can just say, you know, there may be an answer to this. I would love the opportunity to share this with you. When would be a good time to catch up with you? It deserves far more time than what we have at the moment. So it's to just not try and rush things, but also to make a time. And it is simple to be able to do that. It deserves more time than this. When would you be available? When would be a good time to call you? Or when would be a good time to meet with you? So if we can find our purpose and what our dreams and our goals are, we need to find a way of how we can share this information, this amazing story of Manatech with the products and the business opportunity, financial freedom opportunity that comes with that. So, you know, in my opinion, form is the most important skill that you can learn in this business because it will underpin every conversation you have. So that's just a simple acronym to help you get started, some guidelines and just how to talk to people. And I think it's good if you can invest as much time as you can in developing this skill, and then that will set you on the road to develop your conversation. With our team, with new people, we set a goal. So we start with F, talking along somebody's side of somebody in the supermarket, lining up at the checkout, and just start with F. Don't complicate things. It's just to get to talk to people. Talk to somebody about their family. Just ask them and talk about things. Usually somebody's got a child, or if they're by themselves, oh, you're rushing, you've got family to get back to, and all those. Yes. So it's just easy. If you can just start conversation, if this is new to you, I still use this today, is to talk about family. You'll always bring up conversation. So just start simply. The next week or so, talk about occupation in your conversation. Doesn't have to be in that same format. Conversation, you know, it'll all take its journey with which way the conversation goes. So I hope that that's been helpful. I'm rushing things to try and get through, but find your purpose and then the principles of form in talking to people. So quite often we have objections. So Sharon, do you have any questions that you want to ask me at the moment?
No, that's perfect. I'm just listening and learning.
How many of you have conversations with people that you have objections as well? So, yes. And I've just made a list of them that are still coming up today. So it really hasn't changed. I think the biggest obstacle that our team are finding, and I am still finding as well, when I'm questioning about the cost of the products. So that can sometimes be a stumbling block. So my answer to this, and always has been, it is the vision of this company for everybody to have at least their products subsidised. And my personal experience is that I have purchased many products from health shops and chemists over the years, costing me heaps and heaps of money. And did they ever offer to subsidise in any way my purchases? I don't think so. So, and then I just go on, when would be a good time to meet with you? You know, they said, oh yes, that makes sense. When would be a good time to meet with you? I really love the opportunity to share this information with you in the time that it needs. So that's one that I use with the cost of things. You can't debate with them whether they can or they can't. It just takes away those objections, and they really appreciate that, and that works really, really well. Another one is multi-level marketing, network marketing schemes. So ask them, what do they understand? What do they mean by multi-level marketing? You know, quite often they really don't know. They don't understand. And they often say, oh, that's where you keep stock and you have lots of deliveries and you collect money and you go and door knock and all this sort of thing. No, your response is, really? I just say, really? Well, you will love what we're doing because we don't have to do any of that. And then they might ask, is it a pyramid scheme? That's a good one. And that still only came up about 3 weeks ago with me. Is it a pyramid scheme? You ask them, what do you mean by a pyramid scheme? And the possible response often is, that's where the person at the top makes all the money. There are no goods or services to generate revenue, and it is illegal. So it is an illegal practice. It was rife in Australia going back a number of years ago. And your response to that would be, I only deal with reputable people and organisations. And I've learned all this pretty well off by heart. It comes out different every time, but just to get the idea, it's just to give them a response that they really don't have an answer for. And that's when you can introduce other topics. That's where the person at the top makes all the money. There are no goods or services generated. So once again, it's illegal. Probably that's enough. I often say and bring in with multi-level marketing and pyramid selling, I only deal with reputable people or organisations. So it's just to let them know also that Manatic listed on the NASDAQ stock exchange and so on. And, you know, if they cannot be involved with any illegal business. So the credibility of Manatic. Probably that's enough of objections, but it's just to give them an answer that that they are satisfied with without debating. Don't get into debating. And then you can say, you know, I've got so much to share with you. It is an amazing company. It's changed my life, and it's an opportunity for health and for financial freedom if that's what you're looking for. Quite often with, we just go, and I did, because talking about the products is so much easier than talking about financial benefits. Sometimes that can get people's heckles up. But it is so important to step whoever you're talking through the products with, to step them into appreciating the opportunity. First of all, you know, it's an amazing company. You know, they're a company of vision. that they can offer you to have your product subsidised through sharing the gift and what I'm sharing with you. Would you be interested in hearing how your products can be subsidised, and that of your family as well, if you'd like them to have their products subsidised? That means wellness for life. And they never say no. And then you can move on to talking to them in general. Quite often I've done this in a home. Would you be interested in me money? How many of you would really appreciate having some me money? And they always put up their hands or say yes, or if it's a one-on-one, would really appreciate some me money. Well, I can share with you how you can achieve that as well, and achieve your quality of life, your wellness. So we have so much to offer. So to tell the whole story of the products and introducing them to the business opportunity. It's what I've been doing for probably 18 years now, because I was 58 when Manatech was introduced to me. So you young'uns out there, just go for it. Just share this information. That's all you're doing, is sharing information. So Sharon, is there anything that you would... I can't hear you.
Yes, sorry, I have some background noise. Kids here today. I'm a 10-year-old sleepover. They're having a bit of fun. I do have some questions, actually. Have you noticed in this time when incomes are so destabilized that people are looking, or is it you finding you and your team are finding it a little bit easier to, I mean, let's put it this way. We all come in for our own reasons, right? And often the reason we came in is our comfort place in sharing. So some people do, many people come in for the business.
Yes.
But for those of us that came in from a health perspective, the learning curve for us sometimes is sharing the business. Have you noticed a difference in that during COVID times? Are people looking?
People are looking for answers, and we do need to share the opportunity with them. And similar to, I have been over on the Eyre Peninsula, a very isolated area, for years. And they went through drought, they went through fire, similar situation to what we're dealing with COVID. And to share the information in that community over there, very extended, very isolated community, they were really struggling to put food on the table in some areas. But they shared the gift over there in their communities. There could be hundreds of kilometres in between the stations, and not making it easy, but they shared the gift. And in those times, it was Manatech that was putting the food on the table. And it was a community over there that had lots and lots of health challenges. So it's to help them see through the opportunity that goes with it. And today we can certainly offer that. It's important when you're talking to somebody to meet them where they are at. And if they feel that they can afford GI Pro, Catalyst, vitamins and minerals is a wonderful way to start. It's something they understand, and then you develop that into understanding and appreciate the rest of the products and what that can offer. Your omega-3 D3 is just an amazing product to start with as well. So many people know about it. It's in the news, its benefits. So it's so important to meet people where they're at. If you try, you're just so passionate about the products, and if you try to introduce the products that they really can't get their head around, that can sometimes be an obstacle for them. So meet them where they're at, bring them in where they're at, and just keep in touch with them to appreciate what else Manatech can offer in their wellness journey.
Great. I think, there's never been a more important time to realize that people are praying for what we have. And we got to get out of our own way, really, don't we?
We do.
Make
and
sure
it's our immune system. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I always like to ask this question, Judy, because, most people look at people who've achieved goals and been successful in their Manatech business and think that it was just sort of an easy ride to the top. Have you faced challenges along the way? And if so, how do you get yourself back on the horse, so to speak?
And this is coming back to ask the question, as I mentioned earlier, in our purpose: why am I doing this? And it is to find out what your purpose is, to bring yourself back, to ground yourself again. We can be overwhelmed by everything that's going on around us, and we can't seem to find a way out. So I encourage everybody to really explore what their purpose is and why they are with Manatech. And if you can just go through some of your visions. If money was no object, what would you like to do with your life? And put your dreams up. Put your visions of where you'd like to see yourself. So it's bringing yourself back to that purpose in your life. And this is where having a dream board doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just have it somewhere where you're walking past it. And just stand in front of that and remind yourself why you are part of the story of Manatech, why you are on this journey with Manatech, and the opportunities that it presents you. There's no other company that can offer what we have. No other company comes anywhere near what we have to offer people. So it's about living with your purpose and giving people hope. And I think that I have a moral obligation to share this information with people. So don't ever judge people, just share the information with them, and come back and be grounded with what your purpose is. It's the foundation of really what and who we are. So don't treat it frivolously like I did in my early days. It is important, and that's been my staple in my journey with Manatech. And then, of course, we have all these wonderful programs that keep coming up, like Manatech's offering now with Emerge, and your wonderful calls, Sharon, just your wonderful calls. You're there every week without fail. And if we can dedicate our lives to that commitment that you're committing every week with your team, with Gary and Diana, etc., where would we all be today? So it's a commitment. It really is a commitment. And take it seriously, not frivolously. And put times in your diary that you are committed to spend time with phone calls. Or if you don't know what to do, just go out and go to a supermarket. And there's always people in lines to talk to people. And it's starting with talking to people, and that's why we use the increment of form in our training. Some people, new people that come in, feel passionate about the products, would love the opportunity to have their products subsidised, but just find it difficult to start conversation. So for those of you that are out there that are struggling with that, just start on family, and it's amazing where that conversation can lead you. And maybe you can meet that need, and you'd love the opportunity to be able to share it with them, and when would be a good time to do that. They talk like that, and very seldom do I have a rejection with that. So meeting
They probably can feel your authenticity.
What was that?
They probably can feel your authenticity, that you're, if people know that you care, that's when their heart and ears open, isn't it? Is that when it's about them and not you?
It certainly is. And it's just to I think that I was just thinking maybe didn't know how much time we would have, but with our team, you've been asking me what we do with our team and training to share this information. And we have had training times where we've all come up with our as we call, the Getty pitch. And that's talking to people. And I've got sheets of them that that we've actually typed up that have come back. So the Gaddy pitch is something that you feel comfortable about in approaching people. So there's all sorts of different areas that I can share with you, from the baby boomers. Many people are struggling to make ends meet these days, and the stress even affects their health sometimes. So when we know that we're talking with somebody who is perhaps struggling with their health, is that we show people how to build a residual income around their family commitments and get their health back on track at the same time. I've been able to now give up my full-time job, and that's me, as I have developed a better income just doing that. So with my journey with Manatech, I was working 10 hours a day, so bogged down with all sorts of things. We're having accreditation done, so sleepless nights. And that's when I realised the opportunity that Manatech offered. So with realising that opportunity was the final crunch, with me then looking at Manatech seriously and having a better quality of life. So it's not just the health side of it, it certainly is the financial side of it. People were concerned with financial security, with retirement, and that was Trevor and myself. You know, we lost a lot of our investment with the crash. So it's provided us with that residual income that we didn't think that we would have to this extent. And it's just gave Trevor the opportunity to retire early because of the residual income that Manatech brings, and nobody can take it away from you. We can leave this legacy. We've willed it to our children. So it's an amazing company to be a part of. What else was I going to say there in a hurry? Something that it was really funny. Jin Rowan, I think it was, who said, talked about, you know, the business that we're involved with Manatech. You know, when I was with Resthaven, I could only see that as being my retirement. You know, I was probably going to work till I was about 70. And then as I was working with Manatech, at lunchtime I'd go out, sit in the car and make calls and all sorts of things. I hope Richard Hearn's not listening. That's our CEO. And so that's what I decided to do. So my little part-time income of Manatech overtook my income of what I was getting through the aged care area. So one day, Trevor and I had a big discussion and decided that maybe I would take long service leave. That's when I was executive, and give Manatech what it deserves. So I took 6 months long service leave. I set up meetings all over South Australia. It was just amazing what it drives you to do. It's all right. We just got some workers here, Sharon. It's all right. Sorry. So I'll just close the door just a sec.
This is what we've got with the home business.
Yes, yes, it
That's
is.
right. We just roll with it, don't we, Judy?
We just roll with it. We do. We certainly do. So that's when I decided to take the plunge and take my long service leave. And that was a big thing for me to do because, you know, I needed to leave Resthaven with some financial reward as well. So I took the plunge, took the long service leave, scary stuff, and worked the business. And I made phone calls with Julie Carter's on the line from the Eyre Peninsula and Kelly and lots of them. And so through doing that and giving it the time that it deserved, and I used the form acronym right through talking to strangers, whether it's in streets of country places or whatever, came back to that form about the family. I just did that and did it and repeated it and shared with our team and over the Eyre Peninsula with Julie, etc., so that they could then duplicate what I was doing. I came back and decided to sack the boss because our business had grown, and decided to write out my resignation. So I had an amazing manager. We worked the big organisation. We were responsible for 200 residents. And I just walked in the door with a big white envelope, and she said, "I'm not taking it." I hadn't said anything to her. I just stood there, and she said, "No, I'm not accepting it." And I said, "Jenny, you don't even know what it is." She said, "Yes, I do." So I handed it to her, and she threw it back at me. I said, "I'm sorry, but I am leaving. I am leaving. I've found my passion in life. I need to be out there sharing some information and change people's lives." And she was also taking the products as well. So she had some understanding. But I just said, "I'm sacking you, Jenny." And she found that very difficult to accept. So that was my story. My little part-time income overtook my full-time income. And you can all strive for that. You can all strive to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's a few questions coming, which is fantastic. The Getty pitch, there are just some statements that you brainstormed on. So the Getty pitch, can you explain that a little bit more?
We brainstormed on with the team. So we did a training, and then they brought back the areas that they felt that they would like to be targeting. Most of them were the concern with financial security and what the answers that we had to that. So it's to provide opportunity for residual income, but it's sort of the way I've got it set out here with what people have brought back and how they pitch their Getty pitch. So, you know, for me, it's my Getty pitch is that I've partnered with a research and development company. So you can, doesn't matter whether they're the products or the financial side of things, you're partnered with a research and development company that's changing lives around the world and has the science to back it. And so that sort of releases some of their objections that they might have about what you are offering them. And you can then show them the science and everything behind that. While we're talking about that, when you are talking to people and pitching your Getty pitch, you can't really get past this. Keep it simple. Always have one of these in your bag, and you can bring out, you know, the science, the studies, and you can just highlight some areas in that you really feel comfortable with. But the glyconutrient studies is something that I focus on. And so from that, if you've got the most amazing products that have been validated in so many ways with clinical trials, etc., you know, it's a stable business with a stable income as well that goes with that. So, and you can say, you know, we've been around for 25 years plus. How many companies have been able to achieve that? So it's a very stable company. And so I use the Manatech story quite a bit. Always have a CD with you, your favourite CD, your favourite DVD. I've still got them all today.
Or link on your phone for all you young ones.
Yes, yes. And and the Manatech Plus, I use to be able to shoot all sorts of videos with that is very helpful too. So once again, it's sharing the information. You're not the scientist, and don't try to be that scientist. You can direct them into areas that they can look at that themselves. So and there's so much available for that.
Such solid advice.
Oh, there is such solid advice.
Especially for new people, they just expect them to, well, I can't be that expert, and you never have to be, do you?
No, certainly not. And in my early days, I certainly wasn't. I'm still not today. So it's just to be able to refer to something really solid and you've got something in your hand. You don't have to have a whole lot of pamphlets or anything. It's in the Manatech story. It's an amazing tool for you to carry with you all the time, to have that. And you can say, look, if you'd like a little bit more information, I can shoot you through a little video on your phone, email, or whatever. Just keep it simple, you know, have the information that you can share with them that they are looking for once they've identified it. So I think take it away from you. Let the experts tell the story.
Yeah, just point to them. So another question is, what do you do when somebody says
Are you breaking up?
Sounds great, Judy. Sorry.
I'm sorry, you broke up. Get that?
That's okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. One of the questions is, what do you do when someone says, hey, Judy, that sounds great, but I just can't afford it? How do you help someone there? You
sit down and talk with them. When you ask the question, have you ever taken, that's something that I get in quite early in the conversation if they're struggling with little Joe Blow who's sick or they don't enjoy good quality of life, is, do you take any supplements? And I find 9 out of 10 people take supplements. And quite often it's a vitamin and mineral, it's an omega-3 or a probiotic. So you can align the cost with what our products are, with what they buy off the shelf. And, you know, Manatech has the science. Real food technology, I focus on that so much. Real food technology. So the body knows how to heal itself. It needs the right nutrition to be able to do that. So that's quite early when they're talking about their wellness, that they're really struggling. I'll bring into the conversation, are you supplementing in any way? And if they don't understand what supplementing is, do you take vitamins and minerals, fish oils or probiotic? Oh yes, I have a probiotic. And you know, I finally decided to get some fish oil. My husband's got heart problems, and so I get a fish oil. And so even though they can't afford it, 9 out of 10 people are taking supplements. And so that you can offer that in alignment with that.
It's amazing to be able to position the savings with our loyalty rewards, because working up to 20%, you can't get that anywhere. You can't get it at Chemist Warehouse or, you know, I just think it's just phenomenal. It's like Christmas when you get your loyalty points, isn't it?
Yeah, no, thank you for bringing that in. The loyalty points, no, that is a massive focus to bring in and offering that as well. So, and then you bring into, as time goes on, with sharing the opportunity that goes with that. But it's so important to meet them where they're at. And if they're just looking for a GI Pro, and you know, you can give them a little sample of a GI Pro, people get amazing benefit from that pretty well instantly. And just keep in contact with them. And that's how I've started with so many over the years, is just meeting them where they're at. And yeah, and ask that question, do they supplement? You know, I have somebody that I've just signed up not so long ago, and she said, oh, you know, it seems as though it's more expensive. But when she brought out what she was taking, there was hundreds of dollars worth. And she said, oh, I just go to the Priceline or somewhere like that and just, you know, get a vitamin or a mineral and whatever it is. But I said, you do that when you're doing your shopping. This is structured, so you can you're identifying the cost of what Manatech is, but you add that in with what you have there. And she said, no, well, that makes sense. So I'm not going to be just buying here and there and wasting money anymore. I'm taking something that is from a real food technology. So you've explained some of that to them. But I think in my early days, my biggest mistake was trying to encourage people to take more than what they were accepting. And that's when you can then start to put up some barriers. So over the years, I found it so important to meet them where they're at. And if it's a GI Pro and an omega-3 they start with, well, start with that. And as time goes on, they'll start to feel the benefit, keep in touch with them, and quite often it just grows into something else, and they've experienced some loyalty points. And so, you know, I think that keep it simple. Just absolutely keep it simple.
Fantastic.
Don't overwhelm people.
Fantastic. And Judy, what about, where does M5M come in for you in importance or in sharing with others? Where do you sit with M5M?
Huge. That's a big part of my story too, is the M5M. And that's all in this little booklet. That so you can tell the story of Manatech, and having the little places in your book, you don't want to go through all the products with them. But it's telling the Manatech story, and through doing that you are feeding a child for a month. And that's one video that I flick through very regularly, because people are interested in that and can see the whole story of what Manatech does offer. It's just not about money making, greed. It's about giving as well. So there's just that little article in the Manatech story, so I've got to stick it in that. And that's when you use your M5M little video. It only goes for, 3 minutes or something. And you can play that while you're standing alongside the person. Done that many times.
Fantastic.
So it just adds the value of who Manatech is.
They've really come to the party with amazing tools, and even more in the works right now for us, aren't there? There's no excuse any longer where there's a way for anybody to share what we've got, no matter what that person's preference is. And
it certainly is. I had one cassette in those days, going back 20 years ago, the old cassette, and it was all just photocopying, and it was pretty ordinary. But once again, it's find your purpose, your passion comes through, and that's what I think is the most important thing for you to be able to talk to people, is to have that passion, and they can see your heart. And you want to see them first of all achieve wellness. There are a number of people out there without work at the moment. Just have found a couple of people that they're without work. They don't know what their future is, but they do have some finances that they can see the possibilities in what Manatech offers. So that's when you'd offer them the plan, and you just start with your team 2, team 4 to start off with, but just give an overall of the big picture. There are no limits and what they can earn. It's up to them in what they're prepared to put into it. So there's some people out there looking there, and you can offer people hope in so many different areas of their life. And that's what I live with today. That's what my purpose is.
Do you find that the new comp plan makes it quite a lot more simple to explain those early steps?
Oh, heavens, yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So, and, in the early days compared to what it used to be, it's massive. So, it's exciting times, and you can offer people so much than what we could, I believe, many years ago. But here I am today, and it's stable, it's exciting and still exciting. So if you could all, my dream for you all would be to find your purpose in life. And my purpose in life is to serve and to be a messenger of hope, health and opportunity to the world. And through living my purpose has allowed me to realise so many of my goals and my dreams and my visions. So find your purpose, and that will always ground you to have that purpose. Write it down and do your dream board. Have that in front of you. so that you will be able to tick off some of your dreams and your visions. So need to work on yourself a little bit, do a bit of thinking and searching, and everybody is capable of finding their purpose. It is who you are. So,
and I know, Judy, just in completion, I mean, as I always do, I always ask what people is in their heart, but you're just continually telling me what's in your heart. One of the things that I think is really important is that when you're having trouble with your mindset, which is normal in growth of any kind, a growth of a business, a growth of a person, it's really important to reach out and to find ways to really focus on what will keep you going towards those goals. And I know you're a big proponent of personal development. Do you continue to listen, or have you developed quite strong habits now that you rarely sort of fall off the edge psychologically, or with your positive outlook, I guess?
yeah, look, we all go through that self-doubting, which I have. And but then to bring back, why am I doing this? Why am I? It's just easier just to go on and live my life without Manatech. It's too hard. No, it's not too hard. Bring yourself back to why you are with Manatech. And once again, that comes back to having your purpose, your dream board in front of you. So easy to stay where you are and get stuck, but then it's not very nice being stuck. So to stop being stuck, you need to recall where you want to go with this, and we can all do that. And an important part of that is whether you just have something of yourself somewhere with one of your main dreams and goals and visions, if it's for your children or what it may be that you want to see your life and your goals and supporting and helping people. So make up your dream board, and don't be like me. I got stuck years ago because I didn't do that. And it's important to recall those things and don't allow yourself to get so bogged down with everything else that's going on in your life. Bring yourself back to your purpose and where you want to go with life. And life is great, so go on an exciting journey.
Yeah, you have to know where you want to go, don't you? And maintain that focus. I just keep having this in my head, so I'm going to say it. Most people that are regulars on this call know that I've been sort of pulled sideways, and my loves are split by helping the Lyme patients of Australia. And I just recently had a new testimony in my family, in that all my kids, one of my passions that keeps me doing that work is because my kids are high risk for congenital Lyme. And they've had the Manatech technology since birth, since before birth in utero. And then they didn't latch on in breastfeeding. So they had express breast milk in a bottle, which of course got extra ambertose into it, didn't it? So they have a good foundation, but recently one of my twins, the boy, has been showing little chronic fatigue signs. He's got some weight gain. He doesn't want to do anything. We go shopping and he's always looking for a place to sit down. I thought, geez, that's an early sign, right? So I started to get worried, and I've added, I make kind of a routine about it with my kids. You know, they're taking their supplements. They're now all preteens or teens, and they all get their pocket money linked to their taking their supplements. If I look and they haven't done at least 5 out of 7 days, then they get, first warning that their pocket money is going out. But also what I've done with my son is I've added Manipul in every day. So a big heaped scoop of Manipul, and within days, probably because he's got that foundation there, but within days his energy's picked up, he's brighter, he's engaged, he's not so saying, oh, I need to lay down or all this kind of stuff. So, it's just too precious to let any of our personal things get in the way. Manatech is a company of integrity. We've got people like you, Judy, and it keeps you here for 20 years. So I've been here for, I think it might be 23 this year. And it's a company of integrity, and it's worth your personal development to focus and commit to. It's really worth it.
It certainly is. You know, one of my visits back on the Eyre Peninsula, and there were some really, really sick people with shocking health over there. And I actually got to work with a couple of the doctors over there. But there was one farmer, when I did a talk, my early talks over there, I had about 20 farmers with their old hats tucked under their arm and just come off the tractor, wanted to hear some news, some hope. And one of those was a farmer who was left with no hope, no hope. And his option was to complete the reaping, finish that and sell the farm. And he heard my talk. And 3 o'clock in the morning, I was still talking to people after that. They were just looking for hope. And it would have been about 15 years ago when I was over there with one of my visits. I was staying at a motel over there, and there was a knock on my door at 6 o'clock in the morning. And he was on his way to the farm. You know, 15 years later, he still was on this planet. And at the talk that I did, he stood up in front of everyone with his old hat tucked under his arm, in his shorts and his old boots, just came off the tractor. And he said, if this bloody stuff doesn't work, he said, I'll get my shotgun out. And when you come back. So anyway, it was a bit of a joke. I'd go over there every 6 weeks. And after he'd been on the products, and this was one of the farmers that had no hope, and he was the one that said, I might have to get my shotgun out if this stuff doesn't work, still had his sense of humour. He came back 6 o'clock in the morning. Of course, I was still in my PJs, opened the door, and there he is standing there, tears streaming down his face. He said, it's been bothering me all these years that I promised, or almost promised to shoot you if this stuff didn't work. And he said, I just have to come and let you know that I'm so sorry I said that to you. And he just broke down and cried. He said, you are my guardian angel. I am still here today, and I have my farm and my family and doing well. So there we go. That's why I'm doing this. It's offering hope.
Yeah, it's worth it, isn't it? So I've got goosebumps on my goosebumps, Judy, you know.
That's
it makes a difference.
Oh, look, I feel as though I should write a book one day, but so many people that have no hope, whether it's financially or whether it's health, but it usually always starts with health, then leads into the financial opportunity that does go with that. So you've got that in your hands, everybody. We have such a gift to share. So
Judy, God bless you. Thank you so much for giving so generously today. There's lots of people feeling like everybody's crying. Okay, we left everybody crying this week.
So look, just everyone believe in yourself and all that you are, and know that there is something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. Believe in it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Judy. Ladies and gentlemen, next week I'm sorry, I know not everybody will be at the MBA, but we'll work out a call. We've got a busy schedule after having trouble. Dr. Nugent, so next week, no call. After that, Dr. Nugent is going to come out of his shell and do a youth presentation, which I can't wait. I've never heard Dr. Nugent talk about our skincare. So we're very pleased. And also, just so you know, Diana mentioned at the beginning, we're moving into promoting some calls that will help you share the specials that are coming up with corporate. So we always like to partner with corporate where we can. And one of those things is going to be Women's Health Week at the beginning of September. So we've got a series of calls that will be focused on technology for women. So there'll be lots of ways for you to invite new people to the calls coming up. So thank you for supporting the calls. We can't do without you, and have a fabulous weekend. Thank you, Judy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, bye.
Bye.